Have you ever stopped to think about why you were born into this exact family? Why your mother is who she is, and not someone completely different? This question, which may seem simple, hides one of the greatest mysteries of human existence. The truth is that your soul didn't arrive here by chance. Long before you took your first breath in this world, long before you opened your eyes for the first time, your spiritual essence had already made a conscious and deliberate choice. A choice that would completely change the course of your earthly journey. Imagine for a moment that you're in a gigantic room filled with millions of souls who are about to incarnate. Each of these souls has the opportunity to choose the circumstances of their next life, the country, the time period, the family, and most importantly, who their mother will be. This isn't fantasy. It's a spiritual reality that governs our existence. Your soul observed thousands of possibilities. It could have chosen to be born into a rich family, a poor family, a well-structured family, or a family with deep challenges. It could have chosen a loving and present mother, or a distant and strict mother. But from all these infinite options, it chose exactly the situation you live in today. This means that there are no accidents in life. There's no such thing as luck or misfortune when it comes to the family we are born into. Every detail, every characteristic of your mother, every pattern of behavior she has, was carefully evaluated by your soul before incarnation. But why would your soul do this? Why would it deliberately choose a situation that can sometimes be challenging, painful, or incomprehensible? The answer lies in the evolutionary nature of the human soul. Our soul doesn't come to this earth in search of comfort or ease. It comes in search of growth, expansion, and spiritual evolution. And to evolve, it needs specific experiences that can only be provided by specific people. Your mother is one of those essential people. Think of it like an advanced video game. Before you start playing, you choose the difficulty level, the challenges you want to face, and the skills you want to develop. Your soul did exactly that before you were born. It chose your mother as the perfect person to create the learning situations you needed to experience. That doesn't mean your mother is perfect in the human sense of the word. It means she is perfect for what your soul needs to learn. If your mother is overprotective, your soul needs to learn about independence. If she is distant, your soul needs to learn about self-love. If she is critical, your soul needs to develop self-confidence. Every aspect of the maternal personality, every reaction she has, every word she said or didn't say, all of that was foreseen and accepted by your soul at the moment of choice. Not as punishment, but as an opportunity for growth. This perspective completely revolutionizes our relationship with our personal story. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance, we begin to see ourselves as brave souls who consciously chose the necessary challenges for our evolution. When we understand that our soul chose our mother, we stop blaming fate for our family challenges. We start to see each difficulty as a planned lesson, each conflict as an opportunity for growth, each painful moment as a catalyst for our spiritual transformation. This isn't just a nice theory to comfort us. It's a profound spiritual truth that, when truly understood, has the power to completely transform our lives. Because when we understand that we chose our journey, we take full responsibility for our evolution and, consequently, for our happiness. Now that you understand that your soul chose your mother, we need to dive deeper into this mystery. Because that choice doesn't happen alone. It involves a mutual agreement, a sacred contract that is established between two souls before incarnation. Imagine two people meeting at a cafe before a long and dangerous journey. They look into each other's eyes, shake hands, and make an agreement. I'll help you with this, you help me with that. No matter what happens during the journey, we'll fulfill our part of the deal. This agreement in the spiritual world is much deeper and more binding than any earthly contract. On the spiritual plane, before both incarnated, your soul and your mother's soul met and established a specific pact. They defined exactly which experiences would be shared, which lessons would be taught from one to the other, and how each would contribute to the spiritual growth of the other. This contract isn't one-sided. It's not just your soul asking your mother, "Please, Teach me patience by being impatient with me. It's a bilateral agreement where both parties know exactly what they're going to give and what they're going to receive. Your mother also has specific lessons to learn through the experience of being your mother. Maybe your soul committed to teaching your mother about unconditional love through your vulnerability as a baby. Or maybe it agreed to challenge her limiting beliefs through your rebellious behavior in adolescence. Every stage of your life was planned to fulfill a specific part of that contract. The most fascinating thing is that these contracts are always based on the purest love that exists. Even when your mother acts in a way that seems harmful or painful, she is fulfilling her part of the agreement to help you grow spiritually. And you, even when you cause worry or challenges for her, are fulfilling your part of the agreement to help her evolve. Think about the most challenging situations you've experienced with your mother. That terrible argument, that moment of disappointment, that time you felt she didn't understand you. On the soul level, you both knew that would happen. More than that, you agreed that it should happen so that both of you could learn the necessary lessons. This doesn't mean we should accept abusive or harmful behaviors without question. It means we can understand the spiritual purpose behind difficult experiences, which allows us to process these experiences more wisely and less traumatically. When we understand that there is a sacred contract between our soul and our mother's soul, our perception of the family relationship radically changes. We stop seeing conflicts as failures in the relationship and start seeing them as the fulfillment of pre-established agreements for our mutual growth. These contracts also explain why certain family dynamics repeat across generations. It's no coincidence that specific behavior patterns pass from mother to daughter, from father to son. These are agreements between groups of souls who incarnate together repeatedly to work through specific issues until they are completely resolved. Your mother may have agreed to be the catalyst for you to develop your inner strength. You may have agreed to be the mirror for her to see her own unhealed wounds. Both parties benefit from this process, even if on the human level it seems challenging or painful. There is something even deeper governing the choice of your mother. The karmic patterns that run through generations and create a complex web of lessons that need to be learned and issues that need to be resolved within specific family lineages. Karma is not punishment, it's education. It is the universe's perfect system to ensure that all the necessary lessons for our evolution are learned, even if it takes several lifetimes to happen. And one of the most effective ways to work through karma is through family dynamics. Your soul didn't choose your mother just for her individual traits. It chose the entire ancestral lineage that comes with her. It chose the unhealed wounds passed down from generation to generation, the behavioral patterns that repeat, the limiting beliefs that were transmitted, and the spiritual gifts developed by the family over time. Imagine a gigantic library where each shelf represents a different family lineage. Each book on that shelf contains the experiences, traumas, successes, wisdom, and unresolved issues of a specific generation. When your soul chooses your mother, it is choosing access to that entire ancestral library. This means you inherited not only physical traits from your family, but also deep, energetic patterns that may have been active for hundreds of years. You may carry the wound of a great-grandmother who lost a child prematurely. You may express the artistic talent of a great-great-grandfather who never had the opportunity to develop it. You may be repeating the pattern of difficult relationships that has existed in your family for generations. But here's the crucial point. You didn't inherit these patterns to perpetuate them. You inherited them to transform them. Your soul volunteered to be the person in this lineage who will finally break certain negative cycles and raise the energy of the entire ancestral family. Think of it as a chain that has been passed from hand to hand for generations, but has reached you because you have the spiritual capacity to break it for good. You are the link in the chain that has enough strength to break free, and by doing so, you also free all the generations that came before and all that will come after. Maybe your family has a pattern of women who sacrifice too much for others and lose their identity in the process. You were born into this lineage not to repeat this pattern, but to learn to set healthy boundaries and teach that to future generations. Maybe your lineage has men who cannot express emotions. You came to break that barrier and bring more sensitivity to the family. What makes this perspective even more interesting is that you have already lived other lives with some of the people in your current lineage. You may have been your current mother's mother in another incarnation. You may have been your current grandfather's brother. These past life connections create additional layers of complexity in current family relationships. Sometimes you feel an inexplicable connection with an ancestor who died before you were born, or you feel like you've known your mother much longer than this current life. These sensations are soul memories of previous encounters, of lives where you've already worked together to resolve specific issues. Your mother may have been chosen because she carries exactly the ancestral traits your soul needs to work through its own karmic issues. If you struggle with authority, she may have inherited from her lineage a pattern of rigidity that will force you to develop your own inner strength. If you need to learn compassion, she may express ancestral wounds in a way that awakens your natural empathy. Working with karmic patterns and ancestral inheritance is one of the most powerful aspects of spiritual growth. When you understand and transform a negative ancestral pattern, you literally raise the vibration of your entire family lineage. You are doing healing work that benefits not only you, but entire generations of ancestors and descendants. Now, we reach a fundamental point. Your mother is your first and most important spiritual teacher, even if she doesn't know it, and even if her teaching methods are completely different from what we usually associate with spirituality. Forget the image of a guru sitting on a mountain in lotus position. Your true spiritual teacher may be in the kitchen making food, worried about your school grades, or even yelling at you to clean your room. Every interaction with her is a disguised lesson. Every reaction of hers is a mirror reflecting aspects of yourself that need to be understood. From the moment you were born, your mother began teaching you the deepest lessons about human existence. She taught you about trust through the way she fed you or didn't. She taught you about safety through how she responded to your crying. She taught you about love through the way she looked at you, touched you, or kept her distance. But the most important lessons often came through the challenges, not the easy moments. When your mother disappointed you, she taught you that you cannot rely completely on others for your happiness. When she was critical, she taught you to develop your self-esteem independently. When she was overprotective, she taught you about the importance of personal freedom. Every flaw your mother has is actually a pedagogical tool precisely calibrated to teach you something specific. The most incredible part is that she doesn't always need to be aware of this teaching role. Often, the deepest lessons come through her unconscious patterns, automatic reactions, and the ways she deals with stress or expresses her own wounds. All of this is teaching material for your spiritual evolution. Think about your childhood and adolescence. What were the situations with your mother that marked you the most? Those moments of conflict, misunderstanding, frustration, all of them were disguised lessons. They forced you to develop inner resources, to question beliefs, to form your own identity separate from hers. Your mother taught you about personal power through the times she exercised power over you inappropriately, showing you how you didn't want to be in the future. She taught you about compassion through the moments when she was ununderstanding, awakening in you the desire to be more empathetic. She taught you about forgiveness through the situations in which she hurt you, and you had to choose between holding a grudge or moving on. Even the most challenging mothers are perfect teachers. There are no bad teachers in this system, only different teaching styles. What makes this even deeper is that you are also a teacher for her. Your presence in her life, your reactions, your choices, your successes, and failures, all of it is teaching important lessons for her spiritual evolution. It's a mutual exchange of teaching and learning that happens on the soul level, even when it seems chaotic or difficult on the human level. One of the deepest lessons your mother came to teach you has to do with unconditional love, not only through the presence of that love, but often through its absence. And this is one of the hardest truths to accept, but also one of the most liberating. Unconditional love is the kind of love that doesn't depend on your behavior, your achievements, your appearance, or your choices. It's the love that exists simply because you exist. And here's the crucial point. Not all mothers are able to express this kind of love clearly and consistently. If your mother showed unconditional love, she taught you the self-worth you have as a human being. She showed you that you are worthy of love simply by existing. That lesson becomes the foundation of all your future self-esteem and the way you relate to other people. You learn that you can be loved just as you are. But what if your mother wasn't able to express that unconditional love? This is where the lesson becomes even more powerful, though more challenging. The absence of maternal unconditional love forces you to develop something that many people who received that love easily never needed to learn. The ability to love yourself unconditionally. When your mother only loved you when you got good grades, you learned that conditional love is not true love. When she only approved of you when you behaved the way she wanted, you discovered that external approval is fragile and inconsistent. These painful experiences led you to an inner search for genuine self-love. The mother who cannot give unconditional love is, in fact, teaching you not to depend on anyone to feel loved. She is forcing you to develop your own internal source of love and acceptance. It's a brutal lesson, but an incredibly valuable one for your spiritual evolution. Pause the video for a moment and answer me in the comments. Did you feel that you received unconditional love from your mother, or did you have to learn to love yourself on your own? I want to understand your experience with this. This doesn't mean we should be grateful for inappropriate treatment or accept harmful behavior. It means we can extract wisdom even from the hardest experiences. We can turn the wound of a lack of maternal love into the strength of developed self-love. Many people who received unconditional love from their mothers find it easier to relate to others, but may struggle to value themselves when they're alone. On the other hand, people who had to develop self-love due to the absence of maternal love often become more emotionally resilient and less dependent on external approval. The lesson about unconditional love also includes learning about healthy boundaries. Some mothers express love so intensely that it becomes suffocating. They love, but do not respect their child's individuality. In this case, the lesson is to learn that true love includes freedom and respect for the other person's autonomy. Other mothers love, but in an inconsistent way. One day they are present and affectionate, the next they are distant and critical. This experience teaches about inner emotional stability and not basing your well-being on the emotional fluctuations of others. The most important thing is to understand that both the presence and absence of unconditional maternal love are valuable experiences for soul growth. There is no right or wrong in this process, only different paths to learn the same essential lessons about self-esteem, relationships, and self-love. When we finally understand this dynamic, something magical happens. We are able to honor our mother for the role she played in our evolution, regardless of how that role manifested. We can feel gratitude for the lesson, even if the teaching style was painful. Now we need to talk about something that may be hard to accept, but is essential to fully understand why your soul chose your mother. The traumas and painful experiences you lived with her are not accidents. They are carefully planned portals for your spiritual transformation. This is probably the most challenging part of all this knowledge. Because when we talk about maternal trauma, we are touching on the deepest wounds a person can carry. We are talking about abandonment, neglect, emotional abuse, constant criticism, comparisons, or any other form of treatment that caused deep pain in your relationship with the person who was supposed to protect you. Before diving into this more intense part, I need to share something important with you. If you really want to master this deep connection with the universe and learn to transform even trauma into personal power, I invite you to the Quantum Thinking Challenge. It's 21 days of daily practices where you will reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and unlock your full energetic potential. For 3 weeks, you'll have specific tools to shift your frequency and start attracting everything you desire. The first participants have already shared incredible breakthroughs happening in their lives. Are you ready for yours too? Access it in the first pinned comment. Your soul knew exactly which painful experiences it would need to go through to develop certain spiritual qualities. It knew that to develop genuine compassion, it would need to know pain. To develop inner strength, it would need to face adversity. To learn about forgiveness, it would need something meaningful to forgive. Trauma is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you to transform you into who you need to become. It is the fire that burns the impurities of your soul and reveals the pure gold that exists inside you. It's the hammer that breaks the stone and reveals the perfect sculpture that was always there. Each specific trauma develops specific spiritual capacities. Abandonment develops independence and self-confidence. Constant criticism develops genuine self-esteem and the ability for internal validation. Emotional neglect develops sensitivity and empathy. Excessive control develops a sense of freedom and personal autonomy. This doesn't mean we should be grateful for the trauma or accept abusive behavior. It means we can extract power and wisdom even from the hardest experiences. We can turn the wound into strength, the pain into purpose, the trauma into spiritual talent. Many of the wisest, most compassionate, and spiritually developed people we know had challenging childhoods. They didn't become special in spite of the trauma. They became special because of how they transformed the trauma. They used the pain as fuel for their spiritual growth. Your soul chose specific experiences of trauma through your mother because it knew you had enough spiritual capacity not just to survive those experiences, but to transform them into unique gifts. You were not chosen to suffer. You were chosen to transform suffering into wisdom. The process of healing maternal trauma is, in fact, a process of reclaiming your personal power. It's discovering that you are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you choose to respond to what happened. It's realizing that your mother gave you exactly the experiences your soul needed to develop your unique spiritual gifts. When we understand trauma from this perspective, it stops being something that victimizes us and becomes something that empowers us. We're no longer trapped in the narrative of poor me and shift into the narrative of what incredible strength I developed through this. We're no longer trying to forget what happened. We're integrating these experiences as a valuable part of our evolutionary journey. There's a fascinating phenomenon that governs the relationship between you and your mother: energetic mirroring. Your mother is literally a living mirror that reflects back to you aspects of your own soul that you need to recognize, accept, or transform. And this dynamic works both ways. Everything that deeply bothers you about your mother exists, in some way, within you. Everything you admire most about her is also part of your essence. She's not just raising you, she's showing you who you are and who you can become. If you get irritated by her anxiety, it's because there's an anxious part of you that needs to be understood and integrated. If you get frustrated with her excessive control, it's because there's a controlling part of you that needs to be acknowledged. If her constant criticism bothers you, it's because you also have an inner critical voice that needs to be balanced. This doesn't mean you're exactly like your mother. It means you carry within yourself the potential to express the same qualities she expresses, both the positive and the challenging ones. The difference is that you have the awareness and the choice of how to express those qualities. The mirroring also works in the opposite direction. You reflect back to your mother aspects of herself that she needs to see. Your successes show her the potential she may not have fully developed. Your challenges show her family patterns she may need to heal. Your way of being in the world is a constant mirror of how she raised you. When you develop qualities your mother doesn't have, you're completing something your family lineage needed to develop. When you break patterns, she repeated, you're healing something that affected previous generations. You are the natural evolution of the family's energy. There is also the mirroring of undeveloped qualities. If your mother was always very rational and controlled, you may have been born very emotional and intuitive. That's no coincidence. You're reflecting to her the feminine, receptive, and sensitive aspects she needed to integrate. If she was always very submissive, you may have been born rebellious and independent, showing her the personal strength she needed to develop. The conflicts between you usually happen when one is reflecting to the other something they're not yet ready to accept in themselves. When your mother criticizes your sensitivity, it may be because she rejected her own sensitivity throughout her life. When you criticize her rigidity, it may be because you're afraid to acknowledge your own structured aspects. The most incredible thing is that as you evolve and integrate your own shadow aspects, your relationship with your mother automatically improves. When you accept your own anxiety, Her anxiety stops bothering you so much. When you recognize your own controlling side, her control becomes less irritating. You're no longer reacting to the mirror. You're clearly seeing what's being reflected. This understanding completely transforms the family dynamic. Instead of trying to change your mother, you focus on integrating in yourself the qualities she represents. Instead of resisting the characteristics of hers that bother you, you look for where those same characteristics exist within you and work to express them in a more balanced way. Energetic mirroring also explains why certain phrases your mother says echo in your head for years. When she says, "You're just like your father," or "You'll never make it," or "You're too sensitive," those words resonate because they touch on aspects of yourself that you haven't fully integrated yet. They only have power over you as long as you don't recognize and accept those parts of yourself. There are subtle clues scattered throughout your life that confirm your soul and your mother's soul have known each other for much longer than this current incarnation. These are signs of recognition that prove the existence of a deep spiritual bond that transcends this specific life. One of the most common signs is the feeling of instant familiarity that some people feel with their mothers from a very young age. It's that feeling of, "I've known you for a long time, even as a child." Or the opposite, the strange sensation that "you're not really my mother," which some people feel regardless of biological ties. Notice the repetitive patterns between you. Certain dynamics that repeat in cycles. Certain arguments that happen the same way multiple times. Certain situations that seem to recur at different stages of life. These repetitive patterns usually indicate issues you've already tried to resolve in other lives and are still working on together. Synchronicities are also powerful signs. When you think of your mother and she calls you at the same moment. When you do the same thing at the same time while being in different places. When she mentions something you were just thinking about. These synchronicities happen because there is a deep energetic connection between you that allows for this non-verbal communication. Pay attention to dreams you have about your mother, especially those that feel very real or take place in different time periods from the current one. Dreams where you're in clothes from other eras, in places that no longer exist, or where the dynamic between you is completely different from the current one. These dreams may be memories of past lives shared. Another important sign is intense and inexplicable emotional reactions. When something your mother does triggers a disproportionate anger in you, or when something she says causes a much deeper pain than normal. These intense reactions often indicate wounds from other lives that haven't been fully healed yet. Also, observe the natural talents you share, especially those that weren't taught. If you both have a natural ease for the same thing, if you think similarly about certain topics, if you have the same irrational fears or phobias. These deep similarities usually come from shared experiences in other incarnations. Extreme differences can also be signs of soul-to-soul recognition. When you are opposites in almost everything, when it's hard to believe you're from the same family, when your personalities are completely different. This may indicate that you chose opposite roles in this life to work on polarity and balance. Pay special attention to the moments of deep understanding between you. Those rare moments where, despite all the differences and conflicts, you look at each other and there is a deep connection, an understanding that goes beyond words. These moments are windows into the soul-to-soul connection that exists behind the human personality. Objects and places can also be signs. If there are old family objects that stir up strange emotions in you, if you both feel especially connected in certain places, if there are family traditions that seem to come from far away and that you practice naturally. Another interesting sign is the lessons you teach each other without realizing it. When your mother teaches you something important through a completely casual situation, or when you end up teaching her something meaningful without having planned it. This type of natural teaching indicates that you have already established a dynamic of knowledge exchange in other lifetimes. We've reached the end of this journey of discovery with the most transformative understanding of all. Your mother was a gift your soul gave to itself, a gift carefully chosen, precisely calibrated, and perfectly suited for your unique spiritual evolution. To honor this gift doesn't mean to idealize your mother or pretend everything was perfect. It means to recognize your soul's courage in choosing exactly the experiences needed for your growth, even knowing that some of those experiences would be challenging or painful on the human level. Think for a moment about the person you've become, your capacity for understanding, your inner strength, your wisdom, your compassion. Each of these qualities was developed through the specific experiences you had with your mother. You wouldn't have become exactly who you are today with any other mother. If you are especially empathetic, it may be because your mother showed you what it's like to be hurt and in need of understanding. If you are particularly strong, it may be because she placed you in situations that required you to discover your inner strength. If you are wise about relationships, it may be because she taught you, through her own patterns, what works and what doesn't. To honor the gift of your choice also means to take full responsibility for your current life, not as self-blame, but as empowerment. When you understand that your soul consciously chose your starting point, you also understand that you have full power to decide your destiny. You are not a victim of your childhood circumstances. You are a co-creator of your life experiences. Your soul knew exactly which specific challenges would give you the tools necessary to create the life you truly desire. Every difficulty was an investment in your future. One of the most powerful ways to honor this gift is to transform your experiences into wisdom that can help others. When you use the lessons you learned through your relationship with your mother to help someone going through similar situations, you are multiplying the value of the gift you received. Maybe you'll become a more conscious parent because of the experiences you had. Maybe you'll become a more understanding friend, a more empathetic partner, or a more effective professional in helping people with family issues. Your transformed wounds become your unique gifts to the world. Honoring the gift also includes expressing genuine gratitude, even if that feels difficult at first. Gratitude not for the suffering itself, but for the strength you developed through it. Gratitude not for the limitations you faced, but for the freedom you achieved by overcoming those limitations. When you can look at your mother and think, "Thank you for agreeing to play this challenging role in my spiritual evolution," you reach a level of spiritual maturity that transforms not only your relationship with her, but your relationship with life as a whole. This doesn't mean you need to have a close or easy relationship with your mother on the human level. It means you can have peace and even gratitude on the spiritual level, regardless of how the human relationship unfolds. You can honor the soul contract even while setting healthy boundaries in everyday life. One of the most transformative practices is to write a letter to your soul, thanking it for the wisdom of having chosen exactly the mother you had, acknowledging the courage it took to make that choice, honoring the trust your soul had in your ability not only to survive the chosen experiences, but to transform them into wisdom and power. When you truly honor the gift of your choice, you become free. Free from the victim role, free from the need to blame, free from the emotional energy stuck in the past. You become able to use all your energy to create the future you desire. Your mother perfectly fulfilled the role she agreed to play in your spiritual evolution. Now it's your turn to honor that gift by becoming the most complete, conscious, and powerful version of yourself, because that was always the true purpose of the entire journey, for you to discover and fully express who you really are. The greatest honor you can give your mother is to live an extraordinary life, using all the lessons she taught you to create a positive impact in the world. When you do that, you not only honor the contract between your souls, you inspire others to transform their own family challenges into stepping stones toward a more full and conscious life.